All right. Yep, go ahead. Yeah, you see it? No, not that. The video that's on the Facebook. Ruben did you saw that small screen he did, John, right? Not on that one. On the yeah. No, not there. Not there. He had a YouTube video. Look on the YouTube tab.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. That's it.
Here we go.
All right.
That 1920s silent film.
That's it. Go ahead, maximize that.
Ah, the government. It loves you and wants to keep you safe and well. It even wants to make paying taxes, fines, and court costs easier for you. How? Well, you'll need to meet your straw man. He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government. Did you know that whenever you register something, you are handing over title to the person you register it with? That's right. Whenever you register something with the government, they assume it belongs to them. Registered your car? Super! Now you are...
What happened?
So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example, when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government. Did you know that whenever you register something, you are handing over title to the person you register it with? That's right. Whenever you register something with the government, they assume it belongs to them. Registered your car? Super! Now you are the registered keeper of your vehicle, and the government can crush it when you don't pay your, straw man's taxes. Expecting a new bundle of joy? Well then, you need to register your little darling with a birth certificate. Then they can start the process all over again and create a new straw man for your little one. Isn't that great? So when Junior grows up, he'll be able to generate revenue just like you have. When you notify on your baby by signing the birth certificate, your child becomes a ward of state. And if the government doesn't like what you're doing, they'll assume it's okay to take the child away or make new rules for things they don't like. Not enough school? Smacking your child? Shouting too loudly? And it's off to social services for the little one. When you get a bill, it's sent to you but belongs to your straw man. not you. That's why bills, fines, and summons start with Mr., Mrs., or Ms. Sometimes you'll see your surname in capitals, just like on a gravestone. That's because your straw man is dead and just a silly piece of paper, created before you could comprehend or even consent to it. When you go to court, you represent your straw man. So you, the human, take on any costs, fees, taxes, and fines involved for the straw man. The human you doesn't even need to pay them. But you made a contract with the court by appearing on behalf of your legal personality or straw man, just like the government knew you would. Confused? Well, don't worry. The government doesn't want you to know anyway. If you knew, you'd stop paying things like council tax and parking tickets. Because when you go to court, you are representing your straw man. You are you, alive and made of flesh and blood. Your straw man, or legal personality, is a piece of paper created from your birth certificate. And you think it's you. What a silly Billy. Would you like to know more? Well, then go over to tpuc.org. Get up, get informed, and get real.
Okay. Welcome. Good evening. This is Freedom Truth Radio Show. This is your host, the one and only Vincent Scott. I'm on here with another guest. We'll get ready to go. Okay. Sorry about that, people. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. But as I was saying, welcome to the Freedom Truth Radio broadcast. This is the broadcast where the truth will make you mad first and then make you free. We're glad to have you on tonight. We put that video on, although it didn't go as smoothly as I expected. However, the information was there to teach you about the term called the straw man. And my guest tonight is here to help me explain that to you, and just the process of what I call taking control of the corporate you and getting yourself, taking ownership of yourself and not being a slave to the government anymore. Brother DJ Jones Bey, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, brother. Peace and love. Peace
and love. It's good to have you, man. I'm very thrilled and happy to have you on as a guest to the Freedom Truth Radio Show, and I'm very excited for the fact that we've only met just briefly recent while ago, and I was just very impressed by your scholarship and the knowledge that you have as far as government and law and doing administrative processes and just overall freedom from living as a slave in the governmental system. And just to start off, I'm quite sure you've had a quite extensive education in this area, and I'm pretty sure you've educated yourself in many areas of study regarding these topic matters. Can you tell us how you got into this?
This is actually, first off, let me give honors to one, the ancestors, they goon, because without them, I wouldn't even be in this position, and my team, because teamwork makes the dream work. It's not just me. I have a full body of individuals. We have an actual tribe that we operate out of, and we have a corporate body and a tribal body. So you asked me, how did I actually get into this? This is like my favorite story to tell because it's so intriguing to people. Family Guy. I had to be like 19 or 20 years old, and I seen an episode of Family Guy.
Family Guy, wow.
And it was actually the MC Hammer episode with when Peter was like, "You can't touch this."
Yeah,
that episode like really sparked my interest, and I was young, and I had already knew I was a Moor, already knew what tribe my family came from, and all of this.
Okay,
and then it was the sovereignty aspect of the cartoon that had got me interested. I was like, how is this man cutting up in the government face like this, and they can't do nothing? Because I always realized something when I was younger, that it was truth in cartoons. So I always still to this day, I still watch cartoons.
Look at the Simpsons. They haven't been wrong yet. Reality. Look at the Simpsons. They haven't been wrong yet.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why in there I was a Simpsons Like, I grew up watching a different type of humor. Like, I like Seinfeld and stuff coming up. So this was dealing in this type of information. Like, you can tell because of the way that they put things. They call it satire. It was satire, but I could like see through it. And then I realized like it was really true. And then I said something to one of my family members, my cousin. He was like, because I took it to heart. I actually started living like that. And I was like, they can't touch this.
Right.
And then my cousin was like, you need to talk to my dad. I ended up linking in with my first mentor, Roy L. And he didn't necessarily teach me much. He just gave me boatloads of paperwork. So I just read and read and read. And at the time, I had to be like 20 years old.
Okay.
So like that was like from 19 to 20. So that means I'm coming up on 10 years in. But that right there, Family Guy, was what got me started. And because of me watching that episode of Family Guy, it has been very beneficial to my financial future and to this day.
That's amazing. That something that simple sparked your interest for wanting to be freed.
Man, that was just the start, because once you actually start digging into the information, you realize like none of this is new. You actually already been told all of this stuff. Okay. You just get so caught up in life that you no longer pay attention to it.
Right.
Like, you know about the Constitution. You learned about it in elementary school.
Of course.
You know about etymology of words. You know about grammar and syntax. You learned about all this in school in like second grade. But that lets you know how serious people still take their education, and also the direction that the United States government takes you in with education.
That's true.
Because it's important to know the law, because ignorance of the law is not excusable no matter what anyone says.
No, it's not.
So we end up seeing a lot of us in situations, and then some of our Moorish brothers and sisters, our Moors, we see that they are still ignorant of the law, but they get hip to something and then they just jump out there. So I also want to clear up a bunch of misnomers and misconceptions about the UCC process or the straw man thing. That way people can stay out of trouble.
Yes. Please clear that up, because we got a lot of brothers that are doing that, and they end up jamming themselves up even further.
And that video is actually, it's quite old. It got to be close to a year now. But it's very informative, especially for a starter. The straw man it got visual aid. It even talk about the birth certificate. I myself, I have the CUSIP to my birth certificate. I have come across individuals who believe that they have the CUSIP for their birth certificate, but in actuality, all they are reading are the file numbers, which is nothing more than a registration for a will on file within a county clerk office or the Department of Vital Statistics, depending on where you were born at. So that's not an actual CUSIP number. Okay. Because a CUSIP number is a 9-digit registration number. It's alphanumeric, so it has letters and numbers in it. And it also is pretty much a license plate to any security. A security can be a negotiable instrument, check, like statements, promissory notes, things like that. So also that would include a birth certificate, because that's a bond, a social security card, a driver's license, that's another contract that becomes a negotiable instrument later on, and also any court case or ticket. All of these have CUSIP numbers attached to them, but you have to go through a brokering system in order to get it. And then this is one of the reasons why you have to put the birth certificate on the UCC, because it's a security and that's a financing statement, so it's for finances.
Okay.
But also understanding that the UCC is for public record as well. So that's why when it comes into, I just told somebody this on Facebook. It was he told me his ancestors are from Poland, and I don't mind. I build with anyone, because we do have to share this world. And once individuals understand that and they get past the angry stage, they realize like nobody's going anywhere. It was then we could move forward and actually start developing the way that we're supposed to for society, not only just Moors but all of us. Because once we get our stuff in order, then we can better help the world. Because a key point in the end of the Black Panther movie, they asked Wakandans, what did they have to offer them? What do we have to offer the rest of the world right now?
Right. Not very much.
So,
yeah,
and that needs to change because we are the fathers and mothers of this nation,
right?
And the whole world, and we have the most to offer. We have finances and all, but we are consumers. We're acting as debtors, not creditors.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's acting in their proper self or someone who is in control of their finances. You know how many people are really aware of how to utilize their credit?
No, a lot of people
Not many, because the UCC is based on credit.
Yes. Explain that for the people that don't know the difference between operating as a creditor versus operating as a debtor, which most people are.
Now, pretty much, how the video stated, the straw man is a legal entity. Now, the way because I like to use visual aid and other examples to make it plain to people.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, like, Donald Trump, because he's a modern example, not to, this isn't going to be any disrespect or anything. I'm just using it as an example.
Sure.
Now, his name, like Trump Towers, all letters, like in the state, right?
Yes.
It's a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you look at most of your birth certificates, driver's license, social security cards, your name is in all capital letters. It's incorporated.
Yes,
right?
It is.
Because
yes.
only a business or a name or something, a title is only supposed to be in all caps.
That's
and
right.
we all learned that once again in elementary school.
Yep.
So back to the basics.
Yeah,
so
back
when
to
we
the
see these
basics.
things,
That's right.
we don't pay it any attention, but you have been duly informed. So we understand that you have a business in place, and how many of us have actually been taught how to utilize or control or leverage business. So if you don't understand how to leverage your business or the credit that comes along with it, what are you going to do? You're going to misuse it and put yourself in a bad situation. And
wow.
then because of our miseducation, this is like all of this directly connected because of the miseducation that has been directly put into our societies.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually private school, so my parents were military. So that's one of the main reasons why I got this. I was buying and trading stock in second grade. So
wow.
Yeah, this is. And then I moved around, and I came back to DPS, which is Detroit Public Schools, and then I seen the difference in the education system. So I know it's a direct connection in the mismanaging of them teaching actual economics in school. Because my first DPS school I came back to in sixth grade, I had my first economics class.
Okay.
In sixth grade, and then I never really got another one the whole entire time I went to DPS.
Wow.
And economics is part of life. It's spirituality,
really
and it's part of commerce.
Yeah.
The definition of commerce is it's like a 4-part definition.
Okay.
I'm about to read it to you, because if we go to, infonews.com, and you go to the dictionary, it tells you the definition of commerce. So I know commerce is a interchanging of goods or commodities, especially a large scale between different connoisseurs, between different parts of the same country trade business. And it's also a social relation, especially the exchange of views and attitudes, etc. So us right now, us just changing views on this is commerce, us just speaking. Okay. Now, another aspect of commerce is sexual intercourse, which people do not know because of the interchanging of energy.
Interchange of energy.
And then, yes, and then the last one is intellectual or spiritual interchange, communion. So spirituality, that pertains to monetary aspects. Commerce, the Uniform Commercial Code pertains to commerce. So this is my spirituality. But we have a true disconnect with business and our spirituality. So we have also been giving a distaste for money because of the religion that has been handed to us. It all goes back to our education.
Okay.
But these are the things that we have to learn to. Like I heard what you said on your intro. Some of these things are going to make you upset, because I remember being in my 19 early 20s, and I was mad at the world for a couple years because I was realizing I was being lied to, especially when your parents are military and you grew up on the base. Like, you grew up in the government hands.
You think that's all the way it's supposed to be?
Are the worst.
Yeah. Wow.
Because they control now you're not managing the estate, because now this is when we get into trust law as far as the UCC.
Okay.
The trust is the birth certificate and all of the estate that has been set in place for you, because you haven't managed because you haven't shown that you are a competent adult. By definition, by legalese, like how they said in the video, you are a minority, which has nothing to do with the complexion of your skin. But and the root word of minority is minor. So they are looking at that. We get into the etymology. It's stating that you are a child and you are a ward of the state. So by you still not showing that you are competent and you know law, you have just stated that you are a child and you are a ward of the state. So they are going to continue to manage your estate for you and then give you government benefits and lock you up and everything because you are operating on their commercial infrastructure.
Okay.
So as long as you continue to take those benefits, you are bound to those rules and regulations. You get food stamps. You want to drive on their public roads. You want to utilize their fiat currency because that has a copyright agreement on it. No one can utilize that without going to the feds.
Yeah, well,
unless the government has given you permission to.
It tells you what it's for. It's signed by them, and it says, what do you call it? This is a note for legal tender. Yeah,
for all debts, public and private.
And private.
So there's clearly two sides to the game because they said it on the fiat side. There's a way for you to transfer your things from the public to the private and also from out of the private back into the public. That way you can leverage your assets.
That's true.
And this is how you start operating as a secured party creditor because you're managing your finances. This is how you start operating out of your trust. You also leverage your credit. You can also leverage your inheritance if you have one. I'm an individual who has an inheritance, and my mother's pretty young. She had me really young. My mom's not even 50 years old.
Okay.
So it was like I'm not trying to wait on her to pass period in order for me to get any money. Like I'm good. But if I was someone who was in a situation and I know I had that sitting there based on me having all of my information in order, I'll be able to leverage that anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000. Leveraging, not necessarily taking from it, but just me having it there. I could potentially put a contract in place and agree to pay someone out of this whenever this goes through, and it's completely legal. You can make a promissory note.
Okay. But
you have to have your stuff in order to make those type of instruments, and they must also go on a UCC1, a financing statement, because it's a security. And that's what it is. It's for security interest underneath UCC Article 3, commercial papers, and Article 8.
Wow. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is when you talk about becoming a creditor and operating a system where you take control of your contracts, and is there a way where you can, because I know the term about traveling instead of driving, because when you drive, you look up the word drive in the law dictionary, it says it's for commercial use. And most of us that drive a normal car don't do it for commercial usage unless you drive a taxi or drive an Uber or something like that. But your contract that you have, can that be changed to a point where you can travel as a human being on the public right-of-way instead of driving on what they call their roads?
Now, I'm going to answer your question with no bullshit.
Okay. Well, that's what we want.
So, I have right to travel documentation. I've had in place since before I was even 21 years old. I have right to travel identification cards, everything.
Okay.
Now, there's like I say, there's a private side and there's a public side.
Okay.
People will often try and bring their private things into the public.
Okay.
Now, when you are doing things inside your home, is that public or private?
It's private.
for the most part, if you own your home. Okay.
Yes, right.
Now, if you go outside in the middle of the street, directly in front of your house, if you do something, is that public or private?
That's public.
Right. So if you are traveling on that road as well, would that be public or private?
That's public.
Okay. Now, understanding that aspect, it all goes into the fact that there is that commercial jurisdiction that comes from that 10-mile square radius of the District of Columbia, and they project their jurisdiction upon the other 50 states, or it's not even 50 anymore, but the other states across the landmass.
Okay.
So that is how they can, and then also every state is its own country as well. That's the reason why they all have their own constitutions. Every state has its own constitution. So that's the reason why it's every state law, and then there's the federal, which comes down from D.C. Because D.C. rules over everything, but every one of the 50 or 49 all have their own rules that they have to abide by as well. So you're either going to be dealing on, well, I actually had someone who, one of our clients, they actually called and they asked the state of Michigan about the road question, and they told them that the roads are private. And he was like, well, if the roads are private, who do they belong to?
Yeah.
So, but they're not you. They're privately owned by the United States Incorporated.
Okay.
So, which puts it back in the public.
Puts it back in the public. Right.
That's the crazy part about it.
It's the trickery.
I just recommend that individuals, if they decide to go that route, you fully protect yourself, meaning that you have the claim put on yourself the claim put on your business or your straw. That way that is taken care of. And you also have a bond put in place in order to protect yourself. Because if you ever get captured, what is the first thing that they try and do? Is they be like, what's the bond? They be like, you want to bond out?
Yeah.
But if you already have a bond in place, that aspect never even takes place.
That's
because
true.
The same thing that judges have, that surety bond, you can put that on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have that, and also the cops have what they call a hazard bond.
That's the exact same thing. You can put a hazard bond on you, your cars, everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can put a surety bond out on you in order to protect yourself from when you're out here dealing in commerce. Because when you're out dealing in the public, you can't be private.
No.
And it took me a while to understand that concept when I was coming up, and it's like when I was in my 20s, because I just thought like, yo, like I don't need no driver's license. I was out here doing it, like running stop signs, red lights, everything, cutting up. Learned the hard way, bro. I tell you, and that's why I tell everybody straight up, like, because I've been doing this ever since I came into my adulthood. So I've went in court, I've won, I went in court, and then they told me that I could come back because they didn't want to deal with my mouth.
Right.
I haven't had no issues though, but I've gotten checks from court. Mm-hmm. And then it's getting to the point where we're setting it up to where we're helping people get money back from their credit reports, from us getting things off their credit reports, and we're helping people get money back from their court cases now because we understand how it operates, but we only can do it if you're a secured party creditor.
Yes. Yeah, you have to be in your right standing. I've heard one of the elders talk about that as well, that even when you are in your right standing, you have to remain in honor. So, even if you get to that point, you can't be running stop signs. You can't be going, doing crazy stuff.
You are correctly right. I was
remain in honor.
At that time frame in my youthful days, and I'm still pretty young, I was out here on my Peter Griffin stuff, yo. That's really what I told you.
Right. I got you.
I was like, they couldn't touch this. And that's how I felt. That's exactly how I felt. And I don't want anyone else to come off with that same level of arrogance, because that's what it was because of the information. I got the big head. But
it was an ego.
It's very true. But also understanding that being a Moor does not make you better. Being a Moor actually makes you equal because you were knocked down a couple pegs.
Yeah.
So it makes you equal as everybody else. Now we know as far as abilities, mindsets, and our history, nobody can compare to us. But as far as like dealings in law, just being a Moor does not make you better than anyone else.
That's
it makes
right.
you equal, and you did not have that before you had nationality. And
Of course
I wanted
not.
to say something about the UCC. The UCC is not the only way for you to be your proper person.
Okay.
But it is a system that I utilize because it is recognized worldwide and it regulates
I was just
all
going to say
aspects of commerce.
that is the most widely recognized system, isn't it? UCC, because it's international. You can go to any country and UCC is recognized.
Yeah, UCC law is for everywhere, everybody. Now, stuff on the county is only for the county. Stuff in the
Right.
state is only for the
For the
state.
right.
Now, if you go international, you got it. But the UCC is a system that can the financial statement can be filed on the county level, the state level, and the international level, and it can be utilized for multiple aspects. Your UCC can even be utilized as leverage for credit if you have done it properly.
Okay. Now, for those of you that are listening, and I don't want you to get this misconstrued, that once you do a UCC process or you have this in place, that you're going to go out and buy $1 million houses with your birth certificate. That's not the way it works.
Hell no. I most definitely did not say that.
Right.
at
No,
all.
I know you didn't, but
And-
some people have the wrong idea.
I'm just being clear,
because,
but
no,
if you know
have,
how to manage your finances, you can make some magical stuff happen, man. Because within a year's time of me like really pushing, like I've done some amazing things for other people because I've been all right since I was like 20. Like, my parents were military, so I've always been all right. So I was able to really like work and dig into my studies and my education.
Yeah.
And I started my first business in 6th grade. And
Wow.
I actually got like my first job when I was like 16. So I always was all right when it came to finances. I didn't really have to ask for anything. So I had a good understanding of commerce and business, and that's all
good.
I try and invoke into others. And then you don't have to ask for stuff from other people, bro.
That's true.
But also I don't want people to think because the UCC is not food stamps on steroids. I said that in the previous video of mine. Because that people would think is just now everything is prepaid in the system, but it's not to be utilized as government handouts.
That's
It's
right.
to be utilized as you managing your
Yes.
estate and your affairs. That way you can set up transgenerational wealth for you and your family.
Yeah.
It's not
that's
I
what
get
I
a
want them to-
TDA
yeah.
and then I just go shopping because I know everybody who got taxes don't got it no more.
Right. Okay. No.
And that shows me that you're not a responsible
not
creditor.
a responsible creditor.
And me as a businessman, if you don't have any money put up after you just got a large lump sum, it will make me hesitant to deal with you because those are the type of things I deal with because I'm a financial consultant and
Yes.
we have a wealth development firm.
Yes.
So I have to dig into people's finances, and I was like, you want to help do things, you have to manage your stuff first. That's one of the main parts of being a secure party creditor. You should have a decent credit score.
Okay.
Like, that's your report card. That's directly connected to your social security number. And for the record, something you should not get rid of, which a lot of people say that's something you should give back. Why would you give back your meal ticket? Like, that's a security that has a CUSIP number attached to it. That has money has a line of credit attached to it. There is no lawful money. There's credit and debit.
That's right. That's right. Say that again. There is no lawful money. There hasn't been any since 1933.
No, and you are completely right. And people need to be aware. One of my mentors, he told me, he was like, don't pay attention to, this is what he said verbatim. He was like, don't pay attention to shit that's going on. It's all an illusion. It was like, people are looking at the now game, like people are focused on Bitcoin and stuff. Like the now game, you have to look to the future, what's coming.
Yes.
Because when you can put yourself ahead of that, and then you can just jump into that trend, that's how you win. But when you think for the future, that's the mindset of a creditor. A debtor thinks for today, right now.
Yep.
And works from paycheck to paycheck. If you are a creditor, you will work if you have a creditor mindset, like if this what I'm saying bothers you, it should, because you should want to change. And the truth, it upsets you because it's true.
Well, that's our motto here. Make you mad first and then make you free.
Man, but the only way to freedom, to true freedom, is through financial stability.
Right.
Because if you don't have no money, which is part of your spirituality, you are impoverished. Impoverished people do the craziest things. It's like those are the people who break into people's houses. People with money not breaking into nobody's house. They're not stealing from people, robbing from people.
No, right.
It's like, so when you manage your finances, it changes your life. It changes the people who's around you life. It changes your community. Because if my money is all right, and then I can show my neighbor what I did, and then their money get all right, and then they start fixing up their house, I fix up my house, we make sure in front of our house is clean, the neighborhood just instantly starts changing like that, because we are operating in our proper person, which is the financial aspect. I don't care what nobody says. Everything is about money.
Yep.
I just read the definition of commerce, and it explained that everything ties back into some form of money. Our energy exchange, which is true. All money is utilized for, is an exchange of energy.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. Now,
even property, people, if you are in your 20s, you should be working to own a home. If you are in your 30s, you should own your home, and you should not be paying a mortgage.
Wow. Now, explain this.
I'm under 30. I own a 2-family flat right now. I'm about to get more property. I own it. I own the land that it's on, and I don't pay a mortgage.
Now, that's what I was just about to ask you. One of the things I've heard from people who have houses, and and maybe some older people, to say, you buy your house, you get a mortgage, it's 30 years, or whatever, you pay it off and burn the mortgage, and you still don't own your house because it's the government can put a tax lien on it if you don't pay your taxes, of course. Is there a way to finally own your house, own the title deed, own the land patent to that? Because most people who pay off their house.
What word did you just say? Did you say land patent?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. I'm listening.
Because I've seen some people who have paid the mortgage off to their house, and because they've gotten behind on their taxes or gotten into some type of situation with the bank or something like that, where the bank is still claiming ownership on the title of their house, they are in danger of losing their house, even though they've paid it off. How does this work? How do they get themselves out of something like that?
Okay, I can make that super plain, because we actually just helped one brother, but that brother also got his UCC from Atom Works as well. So he already had the majority of the stuff in order before he even went into the getting the mortgage thing taken care of.
Good.
But first things first, have to understand taxes. Tax law, there's a couple things that you're supposed to know, like 4 things that you're supposed to know as a creditor. One is UCC law, one is banking laws, one is trust law, and the other one is tax law.
Okay.
Or tax law and tax codes, because you need to know those. Now, the IRS book is real thick, but you need to at least have an understanding of how taxes work, because taxes are important. You understanding how they go, even if you are tax exempt, because there's something called a recouping of funds, and you are entitled to get back all of the credits that you have circulated into the United States Incorporated throughout those periods, however long, if you want to do it yearly or you want to do quarterly, or you can even do it more often than that.
Okay.
Now, as far as understanding that taxes is voluntary, it's completely voluntary, because I believe it's the 16th Amendment. It was never even legally voted on. It was like 7 to 16. 16 said no, and it still ended up getting passed. So taxes is completely illegal, first off.
Right.
But there are tax codes for properties for individuals like us that you can put on file that will have your property classified as tax exempt. That is one. That way you don't have that issue. Now, as far as the mortgage, that's a contract that is generated at the beginning. When you are signing a promissory note from, I have never had to actually do a mortgage myself because my first property, well, the first house that I actually bought and not rented, I bought it out.
Okay.
And I didn't get a mortgage on it. I bought it out cash.
Okay.
But I signed all the paperwork and everything, the cashier's check, and I read everything thoroughly. The woman thought I was an attorney. She asked me, she was like, "Are you a lawyer?" I'm like, "No." But that's how you have to be with these people. I was super thorough because I wanted to make sure they wasn't trying to play me up out my house because I knew it was my house the moment I paid for it.
That's right.
And that's another thing people have to realize. The moment you pay for something and they sign it over to you, that loan was given to you, not to that institution. So everything, yes, the institution is third partying it on your behalf because you haven't set them up. Once again, we get back in a trust. They're operating as a trustee.
Okay. But not the owner.
So they're operating as a trustee over your house. And in Texas, this is very common. They will just start transferring houses in trust. And then because the trust is private, so they'll transfer the house to another trust. You won't even get no notice. Then they do it another time. You won't even get no notice. This isn't even a hypothecation. This is just them selling it so they can foreclose on you.
Oh my goodness. This don't
even count them selling your promissory note.
Wow. So this is almost like how the bill collectors sell. Yeah,
that's fractionalized banking, hypothecation. That's the exact words for it.
And the bill collectors do the same thing with selling your debt to third-party collectors. So it's almost the same exact thing.
And the reason, do you know why they're allowed to do that?
Why?
Because you gave them your social security number. That's the exact reason why.
Wow.
And by you giving them that number, they will sign. It's like you pretty much giving them power of attorney. Because they would they'll do authorized representative contracts in your behalf. And then they will start brokering your security or start selling it off that way that they can recoup their money.
Wow.
And the thing is, though, there is no money and everything is prepaid here because if it wasn't paid for in the first place, how did you get it? Think about that. How do you get a car if it's not already paid for? Because how did it get paid for to get on the lot in the first place?
Wow.
How did the TV get built to get even put in the store if it wasn't paid for in the first place?
That's very true.
Everything's already prepaid.
So it's all.
You just have to learn how to utilize the system.
Everything's just a transfer of ownership.
Exactly, a transfer of ownership and exchange of energy, because you can leverage your signature. Because you got to think about it. That's usually what people doing with checks. They're not overturning no real money. The power is based on a signature.
Yeah, it is. That's right. Because it doesn't become valid unless
everything
they sign
is only zeros and ones, just like the Matrix. Because a banking system, like they show us fiat, they don't hold any money, but the real everything sitting in the computer, in the ledger, is nothing but zeros and ones. And the same way how I can transfer money into my account, they're not physically moving any money. They're just moving zeros and ones.
That's it. Wow.
Commerce, you gotta love it. And I respect it because I was like, whoever designed this, they was evilly smart. I was like, I love it.
Yeah, well, you've maximized your opportunity to take part of the benefits, which is good. And the good thing about it is you're paying it forward by teaching it to other people.
Yeah. And it's people may think that I'm a real money-driven individual. I'm not. I'm super spiritual, and I understand that money is even a feminine energy. Yeah. And the African system, Ifa, money is the feminine god Ajay, which is a woman.
Right.
So you have to learn. You have to appease energy, and you have to learn to deal in nature.
Yeah.
In order for you to find benefits in life, because even me just dealing in commerce is like I can only do business so long in a day. Like I still miss my mistress and I have a child and stuff. So you have to find that balance. But me doing my commerce so diligently helps me to give my family the things that I want to give them, even though that they may not desire. because people much rather have your time sometimes. But I'm a giver. I like to make sure that my family's taken care of.
Of course.
So, but I understand that me having this insight on commercial activity is only going to put me in a better situation. But I also understood I was getting real left-brained. I was getting real like bookwormy, and I was at one point in time I didn't see the benefit of the metaphysics, and then I realized like I was doing something incorrect.
Okay.
So I looked into a spiritual system, and I realized I still needed to have some balance, because you coming off into all this money, you will end up losing yourself sometime.
That's true.
So you do need to have that balance. So it's imperative that you find some sense of self, because there's the theme that a lot of us don't deal in, and it's us. You literally, in metaphysics, it's called the work, and a lot of us don't take the time to work on ourselves or work out those issues that are actually blocking you, because those will be the same things that will block your finances. Like, people need to understand their natal charts. You need to understand your numerology, because all of it plays a role in commerce, because it's spiritual. I teach all of that because it will help you get far in life.
We just had Brother Lloyd Strayhorn on last week, and he talked about numerology. I mean, he went in, man. And it's so important. You find so many things out about yourself just through numbers.
That's right.
Yeah.
And numbers is real. Commerce is based on numbers, and also the numbers that apply to you will let you know what your life plan or what's best for you. Like, my numerology says that I'm supposed to do commerce. I'm supposed to teach. It also says I'm supposed to deal in fashion. It was like, so if you peep what I do, like, that's what I do, and it's beneficial for me. That's the life pattern that works for me.
Of course.
But I know my numerology, and I know my destiny, because I deal in these schools of thought, these high sciences.
Right.
And then also, me enrolling into these other schools, it made it easier for me to understand the esoteric science behind the legalese. Because it's a spiritual scope between it, because they don't put everything out there. You have to learn to read allegory.
That's right.
And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of individuals who hold any position or place are made.
Did we lose him? His phone must have lost signal. Let's see if we can get him back up, family. I think we just lost him on the phone. Okay, good.
Jeez, I don't know what happened.
We lost
I said the wrong word.
You was giving up too much good information. It cut you off, man.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, anyone who comes off into a position of, like, a true position of power, they have to go through certain channels. That way they know that you're right and that you're going to follow the rules.
That's right.
So you got to be a Mason or Eastern Star. And 90% of judges are officers. Almost anyone anyone in a position is in an order of some order.
Wow.
And it would be beneficial. I'm not saying it's beneficial for individuals to become Masons or Eastern Stars. It's beneficial for you to find out what these individuals are learning.
Yes.
That helps them to get into this pattern. And for the most part, it's a network. Yeah, you don't have to join that network, but you need to have a network for you to build and establish through. That's the reason why we have a TUNE, which is the Allegiance to Unite Minds. We have a group economics network, which we build through, and we also have a tribe. So I got tired of going places and not getting what I desired from my people. I got to be real. I got tired of the nigga stuff. And you find that everywhere. You find it in the temples. You find it in the lodge. I'm just one of the realest people who gonna say it, because I don't care. You find it in the churches.
Yep, you do.
I just don't have time for it.
Now, let me ask you this. With someone that's just getting started and just finding out about how to operate on this level, would you recommend some books just on learning trust law, UCC, commerce, that they can read, anything to educate themselves, to kind of give them, make them abreast of the terminologies?
I got one book right here on the side of me. This is one of my go-to reference books. The title is Business Law, and it's by Anderson, Fox, entombly, and it's called the UCC Comprehensive Volume, and this is the revised edition. It's a blue book. When it first came out, it was around like $700, but I know you can get it for probably like $20 now on eBay or Amazon. I know some of my clients, some of the members got them for around that price.
Okay.
And book on trust. You you can look for a PDF called Trust and Equity, but trust, there are so many different types of trust. You really just want to get the foundational understanding of the parts of a trust. You want to understand like what a grantor's responsibility is, what a trustee responsibility is, and also what the beneficiary gets. And you also want to understand the different parts like the trust indenture and all of the capabilities of a trust, because our company is a trust. We have an unincorporated trust.
Okay.
And we are able to give out trust shares.
Okay.
So trust can be utilized as unincorporated businesses.
What's the name of that PDF again?
It's Equity and Trust.
Equity and Trust. Okay. I'm just posting.
And another good book is Cracking the Code: The Fascinating Truth About Taxation in America. Shout out to my Dr. Mahadi. He the one who actually introduced that book to me. Excellent book.
Cracking the Code.
Yes. The Fascinating Truth About Taxation in America. And I'm not going to even hold you up, bro. Some of the, them books are long. Like that one UCC book, that thing is about probably like almost like 4 or 5 inches thick.
Wow.
I'm not going to say that. I read that whole book front to back because I got tabs all in it. But I don't read books front to back no more because I don't have the time.
Right.
So as a tip to individuals, something I picked up on when I was just studying, because I used to have to read all the time. All you literally have to do is understand what it is that you desire. This is the reason why I ask everyone what it is that you want, or when they come to me when they have questions, I was like, what do you desire to do? That way I know specifically how to help you. If you understand what it is you want to do, you can help yourself. All you have to do is literally go to that reference, go to the table of contents, and then look for the section that deals with solely what you are talking about and read it. And then you have not wasted days trying to thumb through just to get to that one portion.
That makes sense.
And then you're not cheating yourself. It's like, just use the books as reference tools. I'm not telling people not to read whole books. I'm telling you to utilize your time wisely. Because reading books, it takes a long time, bro. And we need to be doing work. Like, we should already know the information. So that's the reason why I give it so freely, because we need to cut the learning curve. That way we can start developing.
That's true. Because we spend years and years reading books and not doing the work. Time is passing away.
We're in last damn place. I don't know if you can tell that. I don't know anybody who's in a further place than us.
Right.
Mexicans are doing better than us. One, they have their own whole country where they're at, and they're over here. And they are like, they got whole towns and stuff. They get their level of respect. Like, they're doing commerce. Like, they have their own whole towns.
That's right.
And they have their businesses, multiples. And people talk about them because they work, but they're doing what they're supposed to do.
What they're supposed to do.
In the United States, people come here to do commerce.
Yep. And, you know, the thing is, they know how to put luxury aside and, you know, unite with vision and make things work. Because you can see about 15 Hispanic people live in one house, share rooms, share space. They all get one van. They all go to the same job, work, and stack their money until they all become independent, financially independent. And then they're you know, duplicating that same system. And this is how they expand and how they grow. And, you know, you can talk about them all you want.
You want to know what's that? What state are you in, bro?
New Jersey.
That's right. Michigan has one of the highest Arab populations.
Okay.
Arabs do it too.
Yeah.
And Arabs, even though they enslaved us for 700 years, we started all the slavery shit. I don't care what nobody say. Melanated people started all the slavery stuff, whether or not if it was Mansa Musa stunting with the gold, and then the Arab scene tried to come in here with it, or whether because we actually were enslaving our own people first, and we were the first to enslave Europeans.
Wow.
So, yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
But the Arabs, they do the same exact thing that the Mexicans do. And out here in Michigan, Arabs are running, well, Dearborn, Michigan, like in Hamtramck, it's the Yemenis culture and stuff. They're out here killing the commerce. Got gas stations, liquor stores, everything.
Wow.
And they also get government funding. You know why? Because they're utilizing those EIN numbers, the same one that people, dumbasses, are trying to give back.
See that? Yeah. That's why it's so important to have.
That's literally, man. These people, I looked up one day. I'm like, how the hell are these people in all these nice cars and stuff? And I paid attention to their commerce. They out here grinding, bro.
Yeah.
Them people don't miss days of work.
Yeah. 7 days a week they work.
When you be seeing Mexicans call in for 6 days.
Never.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go work for somebody. I'm saying do some work.
Yeah. That's right. Now, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, well, I have my social media is, like I say, my social media, not the business social media. So if you, I'm a very transparent individual. I don't hide things. I'm very youthful, and I feel as if people should be able to appreciate me being me because I don't hide anything, and my truth is who I am. So if you feel like you can handle my truth, you can deal with me on my social media, which is my Facebook is D_J Jones Bey, and I got a turban on, and I got the rocket flag behind me, the Moorish flag, and my Instagram is Profit PROFIT_ with Profit with the F. And I also have, the company website. I'm the CEO of the company. Look, I want everyone to realize that I'm not the full-out representation of the company because it's a company that promotes what everyone does. It's just that people mainly see me because I was the forerunner for it, but I have passed it on. I have a board of directors and everything for the business.
Okay.
So, Atumworks. You can find me on YouTube at atumworks.com. It's spelled ATUMWORKS. And the website is atumworks.com, ATUMWORKS. And Gmail, same thing, atumworks@gmail.com. And, the business line, I always have my business phone on me. If you call me and I don't answer, you can text me, and then I will get back to you. And that number is 248-325-8702. And I'm available for counsel. Now, base rate for consultations, they usually start off at $50, but I'm a super reasonable guy because I understand people got situations that they're working out with, and then I talk to everybody because I was in that same situation, so I know what it's like not having somebody to talk to while you racking your brain trying to figure this stuff out.
That's good. That's great, man. Let me just share with you, family. The reason I got this brother on is because I reached out to him just from checking out all his YouTube videos. And like I said earlier, I was so impressed by his scholarship and just by his knowledge of law and commerce. And I reached out to him, and he's actually helping me with some things in my own process, which I can appreciate. And he was very transparent. He was able to communicate on the phone. Some people you call on YouTube or whatever, and they say all these things, but they're not forthright or forthcoming in their actions. And this brother is a communicator. He got back to me, answered my phone calls, and it's just been a pleasure dealing with him. So I can definitely vouch and say that if you're interested in learning more about what he has to offer in his company, and freeing yourself out of your own adhesion contracts. He can help you with that. So definitely go over to his website. I posted everything in the chat room. I posted his website, his YouTube page, his Facebook page, and his business phone number. So you can check it out for yourself, look into it, and become a member of his group. And there's tons of education being offered there. So take advantage, and just applaud a young brother like yourself doing this to help the people. Because you could be very selfish and egotistical by saying, well, I got it and I'm just going to keep it all to myself. But you're not doing that. You're paying it forward. And I can definitely admire that.
Most definitely. Because, like, Drake said it in his song. He was like, how we supposed to grow if I don't share the wealth?
Yeah.
And that's real, and that's even with the knowledge. And even on that aspect, I know you said you potentially going to be coming out April 21st. We are having the Money Magic business seminar for entrepreneurs and entrepreneur prospects.
Right.
And you got to bring your credit report. We're going to teach you some hands-on stuff right there. You're going to leave with results because actuality, this is like a $250 conference, and I have a guest speaker coming out, and he said that we can do it for $30. Because I asked him, could I work him down? Because the people know me. If you ever came to one of my events, you really don't have to pay for much, and you get a lot of information, and you get to eat whatever. So I do my best to make sure that we give him back because people reciprocate with me all throughout the year. So I'm managing my commerce well, so I'm eligible to give back.
That's great, man. You know, I'm going to do something, and, you know, you can talk to me later about whether you agree with it or not, but this type of information needs to be spread and voiced abroad. So what I'm going to do, and this is an offer from myself to you, and like I said, you can accept or decline, or you can talk to me about it later, you can think about it, but I think I want to do this every third Sunday of the month. I'm going to call it Sovereign Sundays, and I'm going to have you come on and we just do the radio show together. You can talk about commerce, you can talk about trust law, everything that you kind of gave a brief synopsis about tonight. You can take each Sunday and break things down and help people understand what they should be educating themselves about in law. Because this is the type of education we need to be giving people so they can help free themselves and help establish legacies for themselves and their families.
Most definitely. And I accept your offer. We just may have to look into scheduling.
That's fine.
Because I don't want to set a time frame and then I'll be taking other stuff.
So
but I'll make
we'll
sure
say
once
for now,
I get that time block, I got you.
Right. We'll say for now we'll do one Sunday a month. And like I said, it could be third Sundays, but we can work around your schedule, whatever works best for you.
Yeah. This is what I do all the time, except for all of the other side developments, because we have farming projects that we have coming up, and we have tribal development on land that's coming up soon as well. That's so great. as long as I'm not like working with my hands, like I got you, bro. It's not a problem. That's but I just want to make sure that I'm engaging with the audience. So I would love for people to like drop any, like, even after the video has been posted and everything, I'd love for you to drop your questions and all of that. Anything that you may have concerns about, that way that I could better help you for the next one.
Okay.
Because it's plenty of, like, this is a very vast subject because it gets into how to generate documents, credit, everything, how to secure your house, your car, even your children, being married, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, it's been a pleasure having you, brother. And like I said, we'll do this again.
I thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. It's definitely been a pleasure having you. And also just with your knowledge and sharing, I definitely appreciate that. And this will not be the last time. And we look forward to having you back again, possibly next month. So until then, we're going to sign off and say good night to you. And you and I will be talking soon, and we'll be having you back on the show soon.
Well, yes, brother. Peace and love, and Islam family.
Islam. All right. That's it for y'all. Freedom Truth Radio. We're signing out. We have Brother DJ Bey on tonight. And like I said, he's going to be coming back with us again to do some more talks on commerce and trust law and UCC. These are things you need to educate yourself and your children about, because when you are not educated in this type of knowledge and information, you are only a pawn on the chessboard. You're only a pawn. And you know, everything about commerce is one big chess game. So if you want to move yourself from being a pawn to possibly a knight or a bishop or even maybe the king, you got to get yourself knowledged up and find out what's going on in this big game of commerce. Because those of you, I know a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but he's a mastermind at commerce. You know, he even said it in one of his speeches in the debate with Hillary Clinton. She was getting on him about not paying his taxes. He said, "Yeah, I've mastered that portion." In other words, he has it to the point where he knows exactly how to operate within tax law, and he's just one person. You can not like him, you can hate him, you can dislike whatever, but you can learn something from how he operates in business, because he makes tax law work to his advantage. And if we learn the system, we can be great players in the system. All right, that's it for me. Freedom Truth Radio. Truth will make you mad first, then make you free. We'll see you next Sunday. We got an awesome smash broadcast planned for you next Sunday. I'm going to make a lot of church folk mad next Sunday. I know I am, and I don't care. But if you want to see what I'm talking about, tune in next Sunday at 9:40. I got my man, Pastor David Lee, who wrote a book, and we're celebrating his anniversary on the book's re-release. It's called The Sunday Morning Stick-Up. Go check that book out. That book is a good read. I'm telling you, you're talking about making you mad first, then making you free. Get that book, The Sunday Morning Stick-Up. Next week, we're coming talking to Pastor David Lee. Y'all church folk going to be mad, but listen to me anyway so you can find out why you're mad. I'll see you next week. Peace.